Hello guys, it's Jonathan here doing another Beyblade unboxing. This time we have ShinobiShadow, no box this time, so let's go ahead and start getting into everything pretty quickly here. First up we have the kind of instruction manual and whatnot. And then we just have the bags here. I just went ahead and pre-cut them. Haven't looked inside yet, but we'll just go ahead and get the parts out. Just get through all these. And yeah, all these are new parts by the way, so that's nice. Also, ShinobiShadow is our first UX defense type, so that's pretty nice as well. And this is stuck to the tape, okay. There we go. There's all our parts, so we'll just go ahead and get into everything related to this bay. So I guess we'll start with 180. It's probably the easiest part to go over. 80 height, tallest of the three heights, one-sided ratchet. So that's on 160 with drawn buster. I don't like this part. I don't think we should have had 180. I think that I don't like this idea where they're going through like every height and contact point like amount or combination. I mean, don't think 180 needs to exist. This is definitely like an attack type of thing. Doesn't really make sense for this bay if we're being honest. I don't like this part. Color-wise, looks pretty nice. You know, transparent, translucent purple. Pretty decent looking, but yeah, I don't think this part really needs to exist. Especially not in this combo, especially not for a defense type of all things. We did not need that. Next up, we have, of course, Metal Needle. Metal Needle, kind of this lime green color. I don't know how to feel about this yet. We'll see how it looks on the full combo, though. Metal Needle, this was, well, this is an interesting part because it is our first bit to not just be all plastic, of course having metal, so we have some hope for some more metal bits, maybe like a metal flat, and also, of course, rubber potentially at some point. That'd be nice. That said, I don't really like this bit very much because it can damage stadiums. It's already been proven that it can dent them a little bit, and that's not a good thing. We don't need that. So this is a bit that I recommend just for collection only. I would not recommend using this because again, it can damage our stadiums, which is not a good thing. Now we get to kind of the main event here, our blade. This is, of course, a UX blade. This is ShinobiShadow. This thing feels very light, by the way. Okay. ShinobiShadow, this is meant to deflect attacks. This is just kind of the general shape and what it's meant to do. That's fine, I guess. It's an okay gimmick, but, like, that's not kind of what defense types are meant to do. And I don't really see anything here that's going to deflect attacks perfectly, especially not with this weight. If this thing was heavier maybe, but like, I don't know, this thing just feels too light to do anything. I don't know. As a defense type, I don't see this doing a whole lot. Defense types have really been struggling in X. I was hoping to get like a good UX defense type. Even if it's kind of like Wizard Rod, where it's like more basic and it's just like a lot of defense stuff in one bay, that's fine. This just doesn't feel great. We'll get more into that when I talk about the full combo in a bit, but yeah. I like the prongs here. They're kind of like almost like a Sharingan type of pattern, which is really cool. Also, you know, teal, that purple is its main color. Teal and purple is always a great color scheme. I like the actual gear chip sticker as well. Looks nice. Of course, a UX base, so this is, you know, not going to be moving, and also no gear chip cover, which I still don't like. Yeah. I don't feel like this really feels all that dynamic, like it warranted being a UX bay if we're being honest, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's go and do part weights now, which I already know this is a light blade. I don't know how light it is though. Feels maybe like, is this even, I don't know, like 30? Maybe like 29, 30 grams? Feels very light, I don't know. Start with the ratchet, 6.75 for 180, nothing unusual about that. Metal needle, maybe a little bit heavier than normal. The metal, yeah, 2.72. How much does this blade weigh? 28. That's bad. That is, wow, they really made a UX bay at 28 grams. Well, they officially beat the allegations that UX is going to, like, have a lot of power creep. That is abysmal. Even if this blade, like the whole deflecting thing, even if that gimmick works, it's 28 grams. It's not gonna, I don't see that really being a good defense type. Full combo is 37.47 grams. That's, hold on a minute. I got Phoenix Wing right here. Phoenix Wing, the blade alone outweighs ShinobiShadow's entire stock combo. That is the level that we're at with this thing. Okay, that's definitely a level of bad that I was not honestly prepared for. Okay, anyway, and this thing was light going into this, but I didn't think it was that light. All right. Guess we'll do the full combo. I don't know which way to orient this ratchet. I guess we'll just put it on normally. I don't know. And it just has like this awkward point then. That's... Yeah, I don't like the one-sided ratchet on this thing. Metal needle. Okay. So here is the full combo here. ShinobiShadow 180 metal needle. This bay, I'm not impressed with this bay, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the blade, deflecting attacks, very basic defense type idea, but I feel like if it was like going to hyperfixate on like deflecting stuff, that's fine. But it's way too light. Like Wizard Rod has like outward weight distribution, it's kind of like bigger. It's a sensible stamina gimmick for a blade, but it's good. This thing, okay, it's a sensible gimmick for a defense type, but it's way too light to do anything. At least make this like 32 grams minimum. Then maybe we could talk again, but this thing is too bad. And like, I'm not someone that even compares, like, that really cares about competitive either. But I do care about design and stuff, and this thing, I mean, like, I care about like both physical design, but also just like the general idea behind the bay, and I feel like a very light bay that's meant to deflect attacks, that really doesn't like mix well in my opinion. 180, that should not be on a defense type. If you want to make like a tall attacker, which is kind of stupid, but if you wanted to, I guess maybe. But like this thing, it's not working for me on this thing. Even if it like has like an idea of a gimmick, like oh maybe it's supposed to like stronger at this point. That's just like typical like corporate talk right there. If that was like their argument for this thing, I don't know if they made one, but still it wasn't a good choice. It's like when they tried to like back in Burst and they made like Super Hyperion MR with tapered, and they were trying to like, oh yeah, tapered like brings the weight down, makes it faster. Like it that doesn't really happen. So 180, bad choice. Metal needle. Metal needle, I don't like the part's existence, but also it doesn't work for this bay. If it's meant to be, like if you want to do the whole light defense type thing, like Granketos from MFB, they actually could have done this. If this blade was light, they could have still pulled something off. If this was rubber needle, and it was meant to be like very solid, I still think I would have just rather had a blade with like actual weight to it, but like, you know, that would have been great, but at least if you had like a rubber needle, it would have made sense, could have been good at deflecting attacks, even if it was light, but also then potentially holding its ground. That could have done something potentially, and at least could have worked like and synergized well, even if the blade wasn't perfect, but they didn't do that here, so I don't really like this choice. Like thematically, metal needle also, you know, again, metal, it has less friction, it can get hit around easier on a light blade. It's not good competitively, I imagine. I'm not really again, I don't really battle, so I don't know for sure, but I don't see this thing being good, but just from a design perspective, this was a really stupid idea. In terms of actual like physical design, the blade, this blade actually looks really good. I'm a big fan of the blade's design. Unfortunately, it's not good, like, you know, it's light, but still, I like the blade's actual physical design a lot. 180, I don't like the part, but it works well with this bay, but metal needle, I don't like the color here. I think the green is too much of a contrast. I feel like these colors are somewhat muted. I think you could have like a more muted green, that could have worked. But if you want a more vibrant color, you needed to maybe make like a more vibrant like purple, or even like a teal, like they kind of match up with this pretty well. So like, I don't think you should have done like a completely different color while also making it more vibrant. It stands out too much. There's too much of a contrast. I don't like that. It's still like decent design wise. Like this isn't like the worst thing ever. Like there's worse bits. I think like Wyvern Gale's yellow bit. I hate that thing for that. This one's like not terrible, but I don't really like it that much either. It's okay, but again, I think they could have gone a little bit closer with the colors, at least like either making it muted or again making it vibrant but a similar color. So it's standing out regardless still, which is fine, but I think that they needed to pick one or the other. Anyway, with this thing, comparing it to the other UX bays we've gotten so far, just kind of a quick thing here with all of them. I don't think this one really... This thing doesn't want to stay straight. Okay, that's fine. So this one I don't think is very good overall. I think when you have the other UX base here, these are all more interesting. Yeah, these two don't want to stay. That's whatever. But yeah, these three all have more going on. This thing's meant to be kind of a single hit attacker. Has, you know, the one side that actually pairs with it. Also excel. Kind of a typical flat bit, at least close to it, while also, you know, being faster on the extreme blend, which makes sense for this thing. Hellsheimer's just very awkward. This bay is a very awkward bay. Hex is an awkward bit. 370, it's like the first new height we've gotten. This bay's just awkward, but it kind of plays into that, I feel. Also kind of like the downward smash attacks, and being a bit taller makes sense for that. Wizard Rod just has like every good stamina gimmick in one, I feel like, and it does its job. This thing is weird. Also, as a random booster select prize, and it kind of just feels awkward. It feels like a prize bay for sure. I don't know, it just feels awkward to me. Feels like there wasn't as much put into this thing, and being a UX bay, and again, our first defense type UX bay, I really would have expected more out of this. So yeah, is ShinobiShadow a good thing to have? I would say for collection, it's fine. Metal Needle, it's kind of interesting at least, being our first, you know, again, bit to use a different material. In the blade, it looks very cool, but yeah, if you're looking to battle competitively, I don't see this thing being good. But even if you're just trying to look to have fun with a bay, this bay's very light. I don't see it being very good. I don't see 180 being good because it's like a tall attack ratchet effectively, which doesn't really have a good niche anyway. Like, you're not really getting much out of this ratchet. Metal Needle could damage your stadium, so I wouldn't even bother using it. So you're basically not even getting a full bay here because, again, don't use that bit. And the blade's also not good. This thing just kind of exists, and really our first big disappointment in UX. The other bays I think are at least good. You could argue about the UX system itself, which is fair, but like, yeah, the UX bays were at least good. This one, not so much. So, like the blade design at least, but everything else here, not great. So, I think that's basically all I have to say about this bay. It wasn't really very impressive. I like the blade design if nothing else, so I guess that's cool, but yeah, everything else here, not great. So anyways, that's all for this video, so thanks for watching, and bye-bye.